How you doing? All right. Club today, great club. Susquehanna's Community Scale Model Club, fantastic. 16 guys turned up. A few noticeable absentees. Couple through illness, couple on holiday. For those that didn't make it, I wish you all well. Especially Bill. We did a video call for Bill today. Bill's been a little bit poorly. He's been in hospital with a little bout of pneumonia and fluid on his lungs. And so we phone him up and, we sort of walk around the club and say, hey, up, Bill, you all right, mate? Everybody all right? People want to say hello and, get well soon sort of thing. And one thing leads to another and we're chatting away. And I look at him and I go, Bill, where are you, mate? He's only out fishing. Do you know what I mean? He's like 2 days out of hospital, literally like on croak bed. Next thing you know, he's casting in at Sally Walsh's Dam in Kinsley. So, funny character. Bill, get well, mate. Hope you're well and stay safe, cocker. It's late. I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm tired. What time is it now? It's 11 p.m. and I've been up since sort of 5. Because on the day before club, I just can't sleep. So, I'm a tornado builder, as you know, primarily. I have built loads of other stuff, but over the last sort of couple of months, it's been tornadoes. But I just fancied a bit of a change. Fraser down at the club, I'm saying, Fraser, you've got biggest stash in the world. What you got for my cheapest chips, mate? And he's had a look through his stash and he's saying, I've got this and I've got that. And he says, I've got this TU22B from Revell, the blinder. And he tells me how much it is and ripped his arm off. Okay. So it's a 1 in 72 is this one. And I've already said, go on, I'll have a go. And then a couple of characters down at the club have already said, 1 in 72, mate, you don't build 1 in 72. And I don't. I build 1 in 48, 1 in 32, 1 in 24. Very, very rare I'll do a 1 in 72. And the reason that I'm doing this is because it's nearly 2 foot long. I suppose, every now and again, Revell, they've got these sort of hidden gem kits, haven't they? And if you've got this in your stash and you think, well, I've looked at it, but I've always put it back to the bottom of a pile and I just can't be bothered to sort of like, it looks so easy. But I'll have a look through instructions, I'll have a look through Sprue guide, through Sprues as well and see what it's all about. The hidden gems, Revell have come out with certainly one noticeable one that I know of over the last couple of years since I've been building the Arado. The twin float Arado. If you've got that in your stash, that is an absolute gem of a kit. And maybe this one will turn out, to be one of them hidden gems that Revell brought out ages ago, 15, 16 years ago. I think it's pretty old. Box art. It's on floor. And it's probably going to be backwards here because I'm recording on selfie. But that's it. So it's the Revell 1 in 72 TU22B. Quite a large box, big old box. It's got 4 markings on it. It's a stage 4, a level 4 kit, 54.1 centimetres long and 32 centimetres wide. And on box art, it's up against a couple of Phantoms, which says to me, they were clinging at straws there, weren't they? Because this blinder had a top speed of just over 900 miles an hour, 1,510 kilometres an hour, and it was a 60s bomber. And when it's coming up against Phantoms that can reach sort of 2,300 plus miles an hour, it's a no-brainer. The Russians wanted to build a bomber that could reach from there to over there, but in end it only had a range of just over 3,000 kilometers. And I'm sure that somebody in Russia, when they'll have said, well, hang on a minute, 3,000 kilometers, that's a fair old whack, innit? We need some horses on that plane to take it over and bomb Washington and one thing and another, until somebody said, well, hang on a minute, America's at over 8,800 kilometers away. What the frig are we doing? Regardless, it saw service. It did actually see service, this bird. Iran-Iraq war, so it proved its worth. 41 meters long with a 24-meter wingspan, and it's a funny looking bird, is this, because it looks like the front end, especially, it looks like one of them kookaburra Australian kingfishers. It's got sort of like an upturned bit of a nose. I think there's a radar in bottom end. I'm not sure. I haven't sort of looked into it that much. But the Libyans used it, the Iraqi Air Force used it, and the Ukrainian Air Force used it, as well as the Soviets. And it did last quite a long time, from the 60s. I think it were only retired sort of like 2000, 2001. So that's 40 years. 40 years for this to... They kept sending it up, you know, but somewhere along the line they'll have said, look, you know, the maths just doesn't work. 3,000 kilometres, they're 8,000 kilometres away. And despite air refueling, when you're up against modern jets, I call them modern jets, they're not modern now, they're phantoms and things like that, that can absolutely bury it for speed, then it's like I say, it's a no-brainer that it's just going to go up. Oh, we've caught you. Missile, down you go. So, supersonic, it is a supersonic bomber, and I think, I'm not sure, it were capable of carrying nuclear weapons. But again, by the time it's sort of like gone up, and it's such a massive chunk in the sky that any sort of air defense radars and one thing or others are just going to say, it's there, up you go, missile, down you come. So it's just, you know, but at the time, I suppose it were designed and built for what they thought it were going to be used for. That's basically that. As far as the sprues are concerned, there's 4 sprues in this kit, and again, you might have it in your stash and you've looked at it, you've opened it, and you've thought, nah, okay. But I've seen a couple of builds on Google. I've sort of like typed it into Google and I've had a look. I've not been overly impressed, I've got to say. That's not necessarily meaning that I'm going to do a superior job. I'm just going to do the best job I can. But from what I've seen, you know, I know it's not a competition and you build for enjoyment, but you certainly sort of look and you think, you're looking for a wow factor, aren't you? And wow factor is like, you know, you're looking, you're thinking, chuffing hell, look at that paint job, look at those, look at that wash that they've put on, look at the streaking and the oils and one thing or another, and you try and enhance these bits of plastic once they've been built together to make the best job that you can. But from what I've seen, I've not been overly struck. So I'm going to get a bash, okay? 4 sprues and a little sprue with a bit of clear plastic on, obviously, for cockpit, and 4 little pieces, I think that they're for, sort of like for under the front end, okay? With it being a 1 in 72 bird, don't expect any great shakes in the cockpit. It'll undoubtedly be bland seats without any seat belts, without any Decals seat belts. I can see, I'm just sort of like looking down here and I'm looking at Decals sheet. I can see some Decals for instrument panel, but again, because it's a 1 in 72, you know, you compare that to like a 1 in 48 Tomcat or a 1 in 32 Tornado. That's, you know, I'm used to building them sort of things, and they can be enhanced to death. But because the cockpit glass, it's like the Vulcan glass, where there's a massive piece of plastic, clear plastic, but a lot of it is painted. Okay, and it's basically just got your front windows on. So, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. So 4 sprues. Let's get the eyes on 4 sprues, and I'll just talk you through what I can see. So it has got it's got your rear wings on, which is fair enough, and it's got your intakes and your cans and your undercarriage strut, your front one. It has got the instrument panel on, and that's got raised detail and some aerials and antennas, couple of bulkheads, 3 seats, undercarriage housing, main undercarriage, which looks pretty strong, to be fair. I wonder how that's going to fare into the fuselage. I wonder if that's going to be really, really strong in there. And it has got recessed panel lines on this kit. Now, I have had a quick look through paint guide. The Iraqi one and the Libyan one are exactly the same colours. It's only the Russian version, the B version, it's aluminium and white. And I haven't really made my mind up yet on which one I'm going to do. The Decals, printed in 2005, that's how old this kit is. Decals, I'll just offer them up to there. You can see the red stars, and it's got a couple of dragons on it. I'm trying to look over the top, look. A couple of red stars, and then some green circles, and some red, white, and black circles, some green triangles, some Libyan markings, I think they are. I don't speak Libyan, so I don't really know. Okay. So that's that sprue. I suppose, you know, I building sub-assemblies and gluing them together, putting them together, sticking your seats in, painting all that cockpit, couple of decals, that'll be sort of like job done. So that's no drama. Then you're on to your main. I'd sort of call this your main sprue. That's got your fuselage side on. Then to, let me just eyes on again. Ejector pin marks. There's a couple on inside, and they have got a couple of shrouds on, but they'll just cut off them with a nice blade. You've got your wheels and tyres, and again, you've got to remember that this is a bloody old kit, so, you know, they are what they are. You've got your engines at the side, which look absolutely enormous. I'm sure that they put some real power out, and they sit into there. So, again, from a sub-assembly's point of view, I can never talk, mate, can I? Sub-assembly's point of view, you can build your engines, and because it's got two great locating pins in and they'll sit inside, you can paint them whether them separate. Then it's got your nose, your two nose sections, and that'll fit onto the front of here. And again, can you remember that Italieri flogger that I built, and it was a butt fit? It didn't have any sort of like locating points where you could marry it together. It was literally just two flat surfaces. And this one has got a little bit of a sort of plastic guide, if you will, on where to fit that. Undercarriage, you've got your undercarriage doors, which again, it's got that sort of lining that you cut down it so that you can open them up. Okay. It has got recessed panel lines on it. It'll take a wash, and again, it just sort of depends on which version you do, doesn't it? Because if you do the Russian one, which is aluminium and white, you know, you go with quite a dark sort of wash in there. I'm looking over there because that's where my washes are. I suppose if you do the other versions, the Libyan or the Iraq one, I've no doubt it'll be two completely obscure colours, because you know what Revell are like. Would it take a wash? It will. I suppose you've got to highlight it some way, haven't you? So that's that sprue. Engines, wheels, fuselage sides, and front fuselage as well. Then you're on to your next sprue. Don't forget there's only 4. So you're on to your wings, and they look so simple to put together. Again, a little bit of a recess on panel lines that I feel that with my fingernail. And again, you've got, I'm surmising that those are for undercarriage to locate into. We'll see how good that is. The plastic it's all right. It looks nice. There's no sort of film on it or anything. I don't need to sort of give it a wash. It'd be interesting to see how those wings fit into fuselage sides. So that's that sprue. And then your last one, you've got 16 free fall bombs, and the racks that they sit in, the front nose, which has got a bulbous front end. I think that carries some kind of radar. And then your bottom bit, which has got that in, and that's obviously where your weapons load sits. On on top of it's so bland. There's no real detail in there whatsoever. But you know, suppose once it's sat on its wheels, you're not going to be able to see underneath anyway. But we'll have to wait and see. Click clack. Okay, so onto your decal sheet, you've got some 61s, some 19s, their squadron numbers, some red stars, familiar with those from back in the day. You've got instrument, decals, and then Libyan markings, Russian markings. I'm not a big fan, I've got to say. I think that, you know, those big green circles, well, I suppose, you know, it's what they used, isn't it? Onto your instruction sheet, then I'm actually going to start at the back. So your first version that you can do, TU22 Red 19, that's from Soviet Air Force from 1988, and that's aluminium and white. I'm always a bit dubious on painting my aluminium because, you know, it's got that aluminium fleck in it, and it can clog airbrushes up. It can. It certainly clogged mine up in past. So I'm not so sure. The only... I'm in a tough choice here because I either go risk clogging airbrush up, turning pressure up, not having full control and doing the aluminium and white version, which is the Russian version, or coming back a little stage and doing the Iraqi Air Force from 1983 or the Libyan Air Force from 1977 and 1980. Now, the two main colours of those is F and G. And again, typical of Revell, when you go to Sprue, when you go to Paint Guide and you go, oh, F and G, that'll be that and that'll be that. So I will prove it wrong, and I'm gonna. F is olive green, silky matte, no big shakes. G, Jesus, 50% of your greyish green, and then 33% Lufthansa yellow, silky matte, of course, and then 17% olive green, silky matte. Why on earth would a manufacturer put 3 colours in a guide to make 1 colour? And do you know what the frustrating thing is that they still do that, despite I am absolutely sure of people emailing, writing in, phoning up, sending a carrier pigeon, stop doing it. Just stop doing it, right? Just, you know, can we get a paint manufacturer that produces that colour, right? Because that'd be a big help, wouldn't it? Even, you know, colour M, I think that's for underside. If you do the one of the camo versions, is 90% silk matte white and 10% blue matte. Now, I use Tamiya paint primarily, and I've decanted all my paints into dropper bottles just to make it easier for airbrush. But if you're not one of those people, like a bit anal like me, if you're one of them, you know, how do you measure 90% and 10%? Well, you can't, can you? Best of luck. Right, okay, sprue guide. So you've got A, B, C, and D, 4 sprues, like I said, and F. F is the clear version. Let's just have a look at that. Typical 1 in 72, massive bird, tiny cockpit glass. Okay, it's like the Vulcan canopy where you've got a massive canopy, but actually 90% of it is painted, and it'll be the same with this one. All right. Starting in your office then, number 1, it says put your decal on to your instrument panel. 2 is the same, 3 is still in office, 4 is your seats. You've got 1 seat that faces forward, pilot, and then another seat actually that faces forward, but he's behind a bulkhead. I'm sure that's navigator. And then you've got a seat that sits on the other side of a bulkhead that faces backwards. Is he the bomb aimer? For 3-4 bombs? Maybe. So you build your office up, and that attaches to your undercarriage, your front undercarriage strut, which is no drama. Popping your out now then, those 4 bits of glass, that are there, luckily they go on to the build from the outside. So you can put them on after you've painted it and one thing or another, and you don't have to mask them off. That's great. Front end is, are we drilling holes? We're not drilling holes. No, we're not drilling holes. No, because there's, what are we? What's that? K5, God above. No, that's clear glass parts. That's telling you what to paint. No, there's no holes to drill in your front end. Stage 10, then you put that office and undercarriage housing into one side of your front fuselage. Stage 11 is popping the other side on with 10 GR of weight. Is that grams or grains? I did ask that question before. Two sides of fuselage on, nose on, underside on, wings on. Stage 20, I bet there's not many stages in this build. Elevators on at the back. Engines are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts, and they're done. They go on to your back end. Stage 24 is undercarriage. Stage 25 is bomb bay doors. Same for stage 26, but it tells you that you can slice it in the middle to have them open. Stage 27 is undercarriage again. Stage 28 is sort of like putting all your little bits on. Stage 29, again, is undercarriage doors. Same for 30, showing you the option of you can have it closed or open. 31 is adding a few little bits. 32 and 33 is bombs. 34 is bombs. 35 is bombs. 36 is bomb bay doors. 37 is bomb bay doors. And 38 is finishing it off. Shake and bake. It's a shake and bake. It's a level 4. I'm not, obviously I haven't built it yet, you know, as you've just seen, it's still on Sprues. But to say it's a stage, a level 4, I'm not so sure. Maybe it's a level 3, right? An intermediate one. But we'll have to wait and see. One at Lads at Club, Alistair, he's built this kit and did quite a good job on it. I'm hoping to sort of match him on what he's done. The colours, they're just going to be an absolute nightmare. I can tell already. Them 3 colours to make one colour, it's like, isn't it? You know, why on earth do you do that? But I'll give it a go. 1 in 72, Revell Tupolev TU22B blinder. I'm looking down there because that's where the box is. It will be painted, I've no doubt, in Tamiya paint, and primed in Tamiya paint, and glossed in Alclad 2, because I've just got a brand new bottle today that were only ordered a couple of days ago, and that's come today. Okay. Let's see how it builds together. I'm sure that I'll be taking a load of photos, and I'll be doing a post-build video. I had to get that right way around into a post-build video, and I'll tell you exactly how it goes. And then, obviously, if you've got it in your stash, you make your own mind up. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. Cheers.